Welcome to Multifamily Insights. I'm your host, John Casman, and I want to thank you for joining us for another great episode. If you are enjoying the show, you know what I need. I need a quick favor, okay? Take a second, leave us that rating and review. Give us some honest feedback. I want to hear what you like about the show and how we can make it work harder for your investing needs. With that said, if you have not done so already, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. We've got a great one today. We're going to be talking to Bryan Driscoll. Bryan Driscoll is a real estate investor, a digital marketing and SEO expert, and the co-founder of Motivated Leads, a digital marketing agency that helps investors expand their real estate portfolio by generating quality, motivated seller leads. Now, Bryan has over a decade of experience doing SEO for both small companies, but also taking that his profits from the agency world, investing into rental properties, and he and his business partner have realized that true wealth comes from real estate investing. Let's welcome to the show, Bryan Driscoll.
Hey, what's up, John? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Listen, Bryan, it's great to have you on. I had your partner on a previous episode, so we'll make sure we link to that. But I went over your bio at a very, very high level. Why don't you take 2 minutes and fill in some of those gaps?
Yeah, sure. So I got into digital marketing back in the heyday, back whenever you could just spam a bunch of links to a website and you ranked. So like early 2000s, I got in, I was doing SEO. I got into it then, it was messing around, and I hopped onto a website called Odesk, which a lot of people now know it's called Upwork. Upwork assumed them or bought them. And that's how I got started into it. I started just consulting with people on the digital side for like $20 an hour, helping them with SEO rankings, things like that. And then I just grew into dealing with like big national and international companies, a lot of e-commerce companies, things like that. And I was doing really well in the marketing space. I went probably about 8 years ago, bought my first rental property. I saw a $15,000 wholesale fee on it. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. So I slapped up a website, started marketing locally to see if I could get my own deals. And I crushed it in Pittsburgh. I saw a big need for the marketing. So that's how I kind of like merged the marketing into real estate investing.
I love it, man. I love it. And the thing that's cool is like you took your marketing background, saw a need when you did your first deal, and decided to combine the two to build out what ultimately now is Motivated Leads. I'm a marketing guy myself, right? I spent 15 years in corporate America doing marketing for big brands, big campaigns. And I've always been fascinated with how marketing comes to life for various businesses. And it took me a while to realize that real estate was another business, right? I was so fixated on kind of the brick and mortar aspect, the property management aspect, the construction aspect of it, that I didn't really realize that a lot of the things I was doing in corporate America with marketing actually could transfer over and could work in this space. How long did it take you to figure that out?
Yeah, well, on the marketing, like once I saw that, I'm like, hey, let's just toss a website up and just see. Because I always take jabs. You know what I mean? It's like, so I found really quickly, like I stuck a website up, like, holy cow, there are a lot of people that have needs that want to sell their property quick. You know? So yeah, it was a fairly quick process on that, but not necessarily, because I had 15 years of learning too.
There you go. So you had the background on the marketing side, right? You knew the SEO component, you were freelancing. And I think there's really great insights here, right? So if we break it down, you were building a specific skill, right? SEO, understanding how to rank, understanding how to get in front of people. You were building that skill. And it's really, really key, because I think a lot of times people just, they come in and they want to be an expert at everything, but it takes a lot of work and a lot of time and some patience to get really good at something. So you did that through SEO. And then when you got into the real estate space, you realized that, hey, I can throw up a website. I can probably understand what keywords to put in here, how to get this website to rank, or at least to show up in front of my intended audience. And that's going to allow me to maybe get some off-market deals. When you put that website up, it sounds like you got some traffic. Talk to us about maybe the first deal or the first couple of deals that you were able to generate from that website.
Yeah, sure. So we stuck up the website and we did multiple strategies. We did SEO, Google pay-per-click, and Facebook ads, right? So we started getting traffic quickly, but we were getting a lot of leads in areas I didn't want. So I personally buy in my zip code. I don't really want to go far because I'm busy. So I was getting leads all over the city. So I'm getting people I want to sell. I just inherited a home, or I have a hoarder house, things like that. And I ended up JVing with a lot of people. It took me a while to figure out, okay, I can do something with these. Someone wants them. So we started JVing on that side.
Got it.
Though,
yeah.
Beat up properties. Like I bought a place that I went in, the foundation was pushed like this far. And we had to go in and literally dig out the half of the house foundation and replace it. But the numbers make sense, so it's worth the efforts.
No, man, I love it because the thing that's great is you had a lot of leads coming in. They weren't really in your core area. You wanted to focus on your zip code. So you figured out that you could either wholesale those deals or you could JV and partner with other people on those deals. And that gave you some flexibility, not to just throw those leads out. And I think that's really important too, because a lot of times people say, well, hey, here's my criteria. And I don't want to sift through all these deals that don't fit my criteria. So I'm not going to do anything. Talk to us more about how you took the deals that did not fit your criteria and you were still able to profit and monetize those.
Yeah, so that was an interesting process because you get screwed a lot. Like, especially on real estate, like if you're sending someone a lead, the life cycle, it might be 6 months before they close. And people don't necessarily screw you intentionally. It's just a lot of investors are scattered and they don't have really good tracking processes. So the leads get lost in the shuffle, right? But what I did first was I hopped on, we have a couple investment groups here on Facebook. I just hopped on there. I'm like, hey, does anyone want leads in these areas? And found out, okay, who's buying in those areas? And then I just hopped on a call. I'm like, hey, if I send you leads that are motivated, do you want to run them and we'll just split profits? A lot of guys said, yeah. I'd do a test run with them. I'd send them like 10. Some of them didn't know how to close. Some of them, it just wasn't the thing. But I eventually found a guy, and we've been working together for years, that I just shoot him over to him. I don't even see the leads. He runs them and we just split it. So I just get checks. So you just got to find the right person that matches.
Oh man, that's cool. I love to hear that. So we talked about how you are getting kind of the leads and taking those leads that don't fit your criteria and then moving them on to someone else and still profiting from them. Let's talk a little bit more about the deals that do fit your criteria. So talk to me about what exactly you're looking for. You talked about a little bit in the zip code. What else are you looking for so you know that this is a deal and something that you want to pursue?
Yeah, I primarily look at them because I buy for rentals. I just look at the numbers just in an even one. I want to be 1.5% of purchase price would be a rent. So if I buy a house for 100 grand, I want it to be 1,500 a month rental income after repair. And I'll even go down to 1% just because I'm trying to push cash to the future. In the neighborhood I buy though, the rents aren't really high. So I might buy a property for, just say even numbers, like 100 grand, put 30 into it. It'll appraise at 230 grand, but it's still only renting for like $1,400 a month. So we're getting low rent, low cash flow, but building wealth on that side because we're getting all that equity and we're getting to pay down depreciation, all that kind of stuff in the meantime. So it's kind of like getting free houses. So I'm doing the Burr method. I buy it cash, fix it, remodel out of it, and the bank's literally giving me all my money back because we're buying in the right way.
Oh man, it's a great strategy. Are you using your own cash? Do you have investors? How are you structuring that part?
Yeah, just our own cash.
Yeah. So real easy and simple, right? You're going in, buying cash, fix up the property, refinance, pull all your equity out, rinse and repeat, go do it again.
Yeah, I used to not have all the cash, so I'd have to go to the bank and put 20% down and then take a commercial loan on it. But that kind of sucked because you keep losing your money. Like 20% goes into the property and it's stuck.
Does that also help you close faster and kind of have a negotiating, leverage with a potential seller?
Yeah, I think it does a lot because I'm competing against wholesalers and guys wanting to flip, and especially the wholesalers, though, they're getting the property under contract. They might not be able to close. Like a lot of, especially the greener and newer wholesalers, they might tell them, hey, I can give you more money. And then 3 weeks into it, they find out they can't. And then the deal falls through. So I can at least offer them, hey, it's my cash. I don't have to rely on other people. You don't have to worry about me trying to sell the contract, things like that. And it builds a lot of trust there because I'm the guy doing it. Plus yeah, you're right. If you're paying cash, you can close fast. If you're just waiting on a title company, once that turns around, you're done.
Yeah, man. So let's back up, right? Because I think what's really cool is that you're positioning yourself to solve problems and be of value for that potential seller. And what I think we can take away as investors, whether you're doing single family, multifamily, whatever, a lot of people are having a hard time both finding a deal, but then two, being able to negotiate and find a problem that they can solve that maybe you can't solve the traditional way, right? Just listing a property on the MLS or listing it with the broker. So let's talk about kind of how you are sourcing the deals. Because obviously every property doesn't fit your criteria, especially if you're looking to get rents that high and create that value. So when you're sourcing these deals, Obviously, you mentioned you built on a website, but walk me through that process, right? What's your system? What's your funnel? Walk me through kind of what you actually create.
Yeah, sure. So first thing, it's really important, especially if anyone listening is going to do their own marketing too. Think about a seller. Think about the people you're dealing with. Like what are they dealing with? What kind of problems they have? And on your marketing, make sure to speak to that. Uh, and also be really direct. So for example, if I'm doing a Facebook ad, a lot of investors want to get really cheap leads. It's like I want as many leads as possible, cheap as possible, uh, which is fine. But I see people doing things like marketing that says get a free home valuation or find out how much your house is worth. You'll get a lot of leads there, but they're not necessarily going to convert. Me, I prefer to have really direct messaging. So we may have a house that's like overly beat up, like got boards on the windows, things like that, with a headline across that says like sell your house fast, or we buy houses cash. And then what I like to do is I like to take them from whatever platform, say Facebook, for example, send them to a website. Don't collect the information on the platform. Send them to a website. I'm trying to disqualify them. I want them to see, okay, here's what we are. We're investors. We're not paying top dollar. And then I want to create obstacles for them to have to jump through to submit it, to give us their info. So they have to fill out a form, name, phone number, email, address. And then I make them fill out a second form. Like, why do you want to sell? How fast do you want to sell? How much work does your property need? Things like that. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to weed out the people that aren't serious. Like, because I'm not an agent. Now, if you're an agent, you might want the people that want more money, things like that too. I'm not. So I'd rather them not fill out a form, get less leads that I can actually go through, manage, and close some deals, So that's how I do it there. And then after they come through the website, a game changer that we did was have them book an appointment right after they fill out the form. So it could be 3:00 in the morning, send them a text message automated saying, thanks for filling out a form. Here's a link to our calendar to book an appointment. That'll pull them away from filling out other people's websites. And it shows their motivation. They're willing to meet a stranger. So that's a tip for you there as well.
And the appointment, is that kind of like a Zoom? Is that in person? How do you do that?
I'll send them in person. So we're sending them in person, but we're still calling and pre-qualifying them ahead of time. Like we're not blindly going to meet people.
Yeah.
But yeah, because 34% of people that fill out a form will book an appointment from what we found, which is huge. And a lot of investors have a problem. Number one, they won't get back to, you have to get back to leads within minutes. But this also gives you a little bit of buffer too, because they're at least getting an option to connect with you. And if you're doing Google pay-per-click, like when you have ads at the top, they're filling out all three forms. This kind of pulls them away from that to try to cut the competition out.
I think there's some really interesting insights you just gave, and I want to slow it down so people could process, right? So one, you talked about when someone's on that website and they kind of get that lead, whether it's Google pay-per-click or whatever it is, one of the things you want to do is you're actually trying to disqualify leads. You're trying to find the people who are not serious for you and your model, right? If they want top dollar, if they have a house in pristine condition, that's not going to work for you, right? You're an investor, you need a discount, you've got to have a way to create value. And you're trying to figure that out first and foremost. So you have questions that help you figure that out. From there, you also ask people to book a call or book an appointment, right? And I think that's really important because there's a clear motivation if someone's going to book a call. That person's serious. Anybody who's going to take the time, complete a form, book a call, they're seriously interested in selling their property. It's not someone who's just looking for a number, just trying to figure out what the current value is. That's somebody who's pretty serious, right? If you're going to go through all that, the process to meet someone in person, fill out the form. That's a fairly qualified lead. Now, I'm sure not all the time, but the guess is, or the sense is, if you are going to do that, you're more likely to be someone who's serious and someone who's not. And I think that insight is really, really key if you're trying to qualify, because it allows you to maximize your time, whether it's you doing this directly or team members. It allows you to focus on the leads that have already been a little bit vetted. And then you said something else that I thought was really, really important too. And I kind of just jotted this down. You said that you want to respond in minutes. And that speed to respond is really critical because this person is seeking answers. And yes, you may have served up an answer, but it doesn't mean you're the only one that is serving up answers. So if they keep Googling or they keep looking, they may find a competitor of yours and ultimately may end up selling to one of them. So if you can stop that process and make them say, hey, well, I've got a call with this person. Great. Let me stop looking and I'll go from there. if you switch industries, right? Let's say you're looking for a plumber, you know, you're not going to sit there and just go through 20 plumbers, make 20 plumber appointments. You're going to go through, you're going to maybe do a little bit of research. And then once you find one that you think can solve the problem, if you book an appointment or you book a call with them and they're able to follow up and confirm that, you're probably going to stop the process and just say, all right, well, I got a plumber coming in Tuesday. Great. Well, we'll wait and we hope that plumber can fix the problem. And obviously, if that doesn't happen, then you got to go back to the drawing board. But you probably stop the search at that point. I think that's a really great insight. And it may seem simple and basic, but if you can be the first one to present the plausible solution, that can end the search for potential investors or clients. And I think that's just really key. So if you think about your business from that standpoint, if you can be the first one to present that solution and book an appointment and make them feel like, okay, you've taken the necessary steps to fix this problem, you put yourself in a really strong position to get it done.
Yeah, and that's so true too, because even if they do, like these people, anyone that's the extremely motivated people are looking for someone that's local, usually reputable, and looks like a normal person, not like a big conglomerate bank that's going to compound them. So once you book that appointment or even have a conversation with them, anybody else calling, a lot of times they just don't answer the phone. So if you're not fast, if you have this problem that all of your leads never answer the phone and they're just really bad leads, that could be one of the problems. Maybe you just got to be quicker.
Yeah, that's great, man. And that speed is really key. If you could give us maybe a tip on getting speed, I'm assuming you've got some automations that allow you to respond, especially if it's a 3 a.m. Email, that comes through. But how are you able to get that speed so that you can be kind of top of mind and be so fast to respond?
Yeah. So the way I do it is I link my form. I use a CRM. It's called Go High Level, but there are any CRM or any text messaging software will work. So what you do is you link your website. You can link it through Zapier. And what you're saying is, hey, anytime someone fills out a form on my site, send the information to the CRM. And then inside the CRM, you have a trigger when you get a new lead to send this text message out. So it all happens instantaneously. Might sound a little bit complicated, but it's not really. Once you get it set up, you're done. So you only need to set this up one time.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. It may sound complicated because I know there are people like, you just said Zapier or some other platform. I don't know about that. So that does seem like it has some levels of complexity, and you have to have at least some knowledge of how these platforms or applications work. If you're not really that tech savvy and you just need someone to help set this up for you, is that something that you and your firm or other services are able to help with?
Yeah, we have videos even like on YouTube, stuff like that. Primarily, we do the digital marketing for people and get them leads. But yeah, anyone we're working with, we can set those up too.
Yeah. So let's go back to the digital marketing side, right? Because I think that's key is like all that sounds great when we talk about the funnels and how to process and how to stay on top of them, the leads and qualify them. But we got to get the phones ringing in the first place. We got to get the emails coming through in the first place. So building out a website seems simple enough, but obviously there's many investors and many businesses out there that have built a website and they've waited for, clients and customers to flood their business, and it simply hasn't happened. So what are some of those mistakes that people make, and how can you overcome them to make sure you're actually seeing traffic come to your website?
Yeah, sure. So if you're running ads on your website or you're trying to rank on your website, a couple things I see on Google Ads we'll start there. A lot of people try doing Google Ads. There's tracking code. It's a script that you need to put on your website. And what that allows is when Google or Facebook send traffic to your website, that code on there allows them to see what happens. So say you send 100 people to the website and 5 fill out a form, Facebook and Google's algorithm can see, okay, these 95% over here were not looking for what you had and these 5 were. And then their algorithm can try to put ads in front of people similar to the people that did fill out a form. So I see a lot of people trying to do paid ads without those scripts, and that you're just going to blow through your cash. On Facebook, I see a lot of people testing things too. What Facebook has when you're running ads, they have different options on what you can ask for. You can ask for, I want people to click my link. I want people to engage with my page. I want people to watch my video, or I want conversions. A lot of people will do link clicks, for example, thinking I want to get as many people to my website as possible, which Facebook will give you exactly what you ask for. So if you ask for link clicks, they'll have people click your link and they do nothing else. Or if you ask for video views, people will watch your video and they do nothing else. So be direct. Tell them, hey, I want leads. The cost per click will be way more expensive, but the people will actually call you or fill out a form. So that's another thing I see there.
Yeah, I think the key there is be clear on the outcome that you're looking for. If you want leads, which is someone filling out a form, make sure you set everything to get a lead. Your content, your messaging, whatever you're doing needs to be driven for someone to complete that form. And yes, it may cost you more money, but if you're doing it all the right way and your business is set up the right way, that lead's going to be way more valuable. It should pay off. So if you're paying twice as much for leads versus clicks, who cares? Because the lead's going to be qualified, or at least more likely to be qualified, and that's going to generate more revenue for your business. What are some other mistakes you see investors make, or even, quite frankly, any business owners when it comes to trying to set up their digital marketing?
Yeah, the main one of them is like we are just talking about, go for the lead. Just because a lot of people get stuck up with branding as well. I need everyone to see my stuff. I want to do reach campaigns, things like that. It's like, focus on what you're looking for. So focus on getting a lead, turning it into an appointment, and getting out there and getting a contract. I see a lot of people also not tracking KPIs, like track how many leads you get, how many of those turn into appointments, how many turn into contracts and deals. Because what you can do there is you can look at the numbers and see, okay, where's the break? Like, for example, I know on one campaign I was just looking at, we have a 58% conversion books an appointment, 98% of people show up, and 7% out of those in a month turn into a deal, right? Without baking out, it will probably end up being 10. But if you notice 50% of people book an appointment and only 15% of the people show, there's a disconnect there. So you need to go back and look at that process. Okay, they booked, but did we not reach out to them and confirm? Or did we not send qualified information? Or did we book too long? Or if you get a bunch of leads and only 20% book an appointment, okay, where's the source? So look at the KPIs and try to see where is the disconnect if the numbers aren't acceptable, and then look through the process and make sure that it makes sense for the seller and tweak it, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. And we've been talking more, and I know a lot of this is pertaining to real estate in general, or maybe even residential real estate. But I know a lot of this does work in the multifamily space as well, particularly if you're looking at smaller multifamily that is more mom and pop type owners. Talk to us a little bit more about maybe any nuances or things that you might change or work with if you're working specifically for multifamily properties.
Yeah, so if I'm working for multis, I want to have images like on my creatives. Number one, I want to have images and the ads created for what I want. So if you're looking for duplexes and fourplexes, things like that, don't have a big apartment complex on your ads, like 50 units. It's not going to make sense. And it targets people are visual. So they're going to see and then relate to whatever that is. So number one, even with commercial too, like if you're targeting, I see a lot of people with commercial have all these buildings. If you're targeting warehouses, put warehouses on there, or auto garages or whatever it is. But with a multi, put images there and then test different things also. Like we buy multifamily properties, we buy multifamily houses, like test different variations there. And then it's the same process. Like we're solving people's problems. So make sure to hit their points. It's still the same process, whether you're buying a residential house, multifamily, things like that from the lead gen side. So just make sure you think it through. What are some of the problems? Like a mom and pops selling a duplex is different than somebody selling a 50 unit apartment complex. Like mom and pops might have two properties. They weren't cut out to be landlords. And then they realize that versus someone with a big, like 50 unit, they're a whole different thought process, So make sure your marketing and messaging is there for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would also add that for, the larger the property, typically the more sophisticated the investor or the owner, and the longer the lead time, because these people, they may need to feel some pain, and that pain may not even be financially. It may just be, I'm just tired of managing this property, or, oh, there's something else I got to fix and I'd rather take a vacation, or I'd rather retire. And it takes a minute for them to build that relationship. And when we talk about commercial real estate and multifamily, we always talk about it being a relationship driven business. Well, it's the same thing when you're talking to a seller. They got to get to know you. They have to believe you. And, you started talking about that wholesaler who may not be able to close and perform. Well, that's even greater in the multifamily space, right? They have a fear that someone's going to come in and promise them the world and not have two nickels to be able to close the deal. So you're going to have to be able to build up that credibility and trust. And that may take a little bit of time. So it may not be an immediate transaction that, they come to your website, you're meeting them the next day or a couple of days later, and then a week later you're under contract. It may take, months, 3 months, 6 months, a year. I actually just talked to an investor who said he did a direct to seller campaign, and it took a year before the owners were finally ready to sell. And even then, they now are, negotiating the number. It's a little higher than he wants, but he can make it work. So they're getting close on getting that deal done under contract. But it took a year for that lead to kind of come to fruition. So you just have to be a little bit of patience as well to kind of see these deals through, especially if you're buying larger properties. Any other tips or insights when it comes to trying to make sure the leads are qualified and you are setting yourself up to have a pipeline of potential deals in your portfolio?
Yeah, one thing you just made me think about. So the more sophisticated investor, you're right. That's a totally different type of person there. I know a lot of investors also do property management, though. Sometimes you can go at it from a different angle. It's like go after, well, number one, you're going to want to brand yourself for when these people are ready, like the more sophisticated person, because they're usually not distressed. They're not going to be like, hey, you know what? I have a hoarder 50-unit apartment complex, but you can go at them from a different angle if you do with other areas too. Sometimes you can do property management, get at them in front of those types of things, and then also work out, because it's a relationship. You're helping them with that. Hey, and then we buy properties also. If you ever need an exit, we're here. So you can creatively think on marketing, how to get in front of those people and what kind of problems they're dealing with.
I love that tip, man. It's a great tip, Brian, because again, the more you can do or the more creative you can be as far as solving their problems, the easier it's going to be for you to get that deal flow that you're looking for. So great tips there. Again, if you want to learn more, I know you help a lot of investors be able to grow their pipeline and set themselves up to get a consistent list of qualified leads. So if you want to learn more about this, you should check out the website, motivated-leads.com. You can check that out there and get more information from Brian and his team. With that said, we're going to move on to a round of insights. You ready?
All right.
All right, give me a failure or an apparent failure that set you up for later success.
One failure, the big one I had is I went like crazy way back in the day from working too much. I didn't sleep for a couple days and tried to get everything done too quickly and literally went bonkers. And that was probably like my hardest failure of life. It took me years to recover. But now I look at things now and it's like, no, you got to keep things paced, organized, things like that. And that failure allowed me to succeed now.
Wow, you say literally went bonkers. You got to elaborate just a little bit there.
Well, okay, I was 302'd, like literally.
Wow.
Went crazy from not, because a lot of times I see, even with guys just getting into business, they're like, oh, I got to work so hard, not sleep, things like that. So I literally went a couple of days without sleeping, which breaks your brain. So I learned, okay, no, you got to do everything equally. Like you got to pace yourself.
Yeah.
It's a marathon, not a sprint,
Wow, great tip there for all of you guys and gals burning the candle on both ends. Take that advice right there to heart. All right. Give me a digital or mobile resource you recommend for your business.
For the business, that's a good question. Neil Patel has a great blog on SEO if you're trying to get into that kind of stuff. Russell Brunson on funnels, things like that as well. Like just keep learning and keep learning and seeing what's out there and thinking.
Love it. Give me the book you've recommended or gifted the most in the last year.
Richest Man in Babylon.
Excellent. Another classic book there. Give me a daily habit that helps you stay focused on your goals.
A daily habit, I wake up really early and I exercise early in the morning to keep myself focused before jumping on a computer.
Give me your number one insight for digital marketing.
Be direct. Be direct and don't expect quick wins. Do things consistently. If you're going to try something, commit to it for multiple months. Don't just stick up an ad for a week and say it failed.
There you go. Good points there. Let's lighten the mood. I know you are in Pittsburgh, PA. So give me your favorite place to grab a bite to eat.
Oh, that's a good question. We got Permanis. Permanis is good. That's a Pittsburgh place where they have a sandwich with fries and coleslaw all on top. It's pretty good.
All right. We'll make sure we link to that. As a Cleveland native who lives in Cincinnati, Pittsburgh is never on my top list of places to go. But I will tell you what, I've got family that grew up in Pittsburgh and always had a good time when I go there. So I appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing so many great insights, particularly just understanding like, one, we need to qualify leads. A lot of times people just want to get leads and just add to their database, but those leads may not be qualified, which means you're not going to be able to grow and do your business with them. So make sure you take the time to qualify leads. The way you said it was, you're looking to disqualify leads. I think that's a really unique angle to take to disqualify leads. So you are focused on doing the deals with the right people. And also that follow up, the timing is key. If you can follow up in minutes, not days, not hours, but minutes, that's going to increase your chances of closing the deal. So two really, really strong, actionable insights that we can all take and implement our business. Again, if you want to learn more from Bryan and his team, you can go to motivated-leads.com. Bryan, I want to thank you again for coming on the show today. Hope you have a great one. And we look forward to staying in touch and seeing you again soon.
Thanks. We'll see you soon.